Hello and welcome to Follow Everton. I did a tactical video with Adam a little bit earlier, but I think it's fair to say he's probably gone to sleep and getting ready for work. After that, I've did some other recorded videos I'd like to go over. So the ones right now are going to be looking at some of the chances that Everton had early on in the match, basically before we went down 1-0 and right after, and some of the different ways we were able to manufacture opportunities. All of which unfortunately were wasted opportunities, but yes, that match is over. We can get as excited as we want about the result, but these are going to be the likely inroads we have to score against Bournemouth at the weekend at Goodison. So let's have a look here at the start for the first one here. So we know last year I was notorious for saying every time we want to throw in on the right-hand side, we never went forward. We basically just went backwards and hoofed it long, and it never worked out. This was an example where there was a lot of possession and pressing on the left-hand side of Tottenham's defense, and we want to throw in Roman Dixon looking for options. There's the midfield of Tottenham is controlling the area there with that little white triangle with Madison, Hyun-Min Son, and I believe it was Wilson Odegaard. And then the only ideal forward option that you could even pick from right here was down the line to Jack Harrison, flagged there with the yellow and black ring on. And Abdoulaye Doucouré here in the middle has his arm pointing out, basically asking for a switch of play. So he does that. And what we then end up having is a pass back to Tarkowski at that point. So Tarkowski gets it, he hoofs it long. There's a jump from, I think it was either Kulusevski or Mickey van de Ven, where he knocks it into the middle, and there's a scramble for the second ball. That second ball was received and anticipated by both Yves Bissouma and Tim Iroegbunam. Iroegbunam gets there just beforehand. As you can see, he's about to knock it on his right boot on his outstep there, and sees Mykolenko available on that left wing. So the other thing you're noticing right now is Everton don't have that many players in key positions, but the one to pay attention to is Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Dwight McNeil is out offside. He's not going to be of much influence other than distracting Romero right there as Van de Ven's pushed up, so he's kind of out of the picture. So on the next line here, we have Mykolenko has now received the ball. He has two options of where he could shoot to. Or cross to, sorry. The one that I think was the ideal option, he had a chance to chip over Romero right here, and Van de Ven is not able to catch up to Calvert-Lewin, who's there highlighted in white, who basically, as long as you have a cross over the top there, DCL has the entire goal mouth to shoot from, either by foot or by head. And even though Van de Ven's faster than DCL, not over that stretch, and then he's not at full speed either. But instead, what ends up happening is, instead of doing that chip shot to DCL, Tim Iroegbunam is going to do it, the run from the opposite direction and pull in Pedro Porro. And after he goes past Pedro Porro, Romero comes across, and this is one of those, if executed perfectly, this is a tap in for DCL. The problem was you're running at full speed and trying to cut back behind yourself, and it was just a little bit too much for Iroegbunam to pull off. So instead of trying to cut it back along that yellow line, where you would basically either get a handball or Romero would not be able to make contact with it, it went off Romero's shin for a diving block, and all of a sudden it's another corner kick. Not the end of the world for Everton. We know we can score from corners, but in reality, a lot of these situations, we don't see that happening. A different throw-in opportunity that I think was really interesting. So in this case, we didn't do the typical, we're just going to knock it back to the keeper and hoof it. There was a little bit more creativity here. So you can see Tottenham not in an ideal position. They have a lot of players clustered by the edge of the 18-yard box on the wrong side of the goal. So you've got what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the 7th marking the throw. So I've marked a little yellow arrow here for the space, but where the space is behind, which will then be utilized after a little effective triangle here. So the throw in comes in. I think it was from Dwight McNeil. And then Roman Dixon knocks it to Adrissa Gay, bypassing Wilson Odebear, and very quickly taking advantage of that space on the right wing. McNeil receives and cuts back onto his left foot and does a typical Dwight McNeil cross. So that cross is now going to go to the back post. You see a few players now running towards the penalty spot, where you've still got, again, 6 players from Tottenham covering 3 players from Everton. But the key player of note here is Jack Harrison, just on the bottom left-hand side of your screen, in the black and the yellow. Not picked up. We were talking earlier about hitting blind spots. This is the exact opportunity Everton had to impact similar damage to Tottenham. But unfortunately, what ends up happening, Abdoulaye Doucouré goes for the jump, just misses. I'm not sure if Harrison is expecting right here, but it's on the plate for him. It's a golden opportunity to knock it in, but wasn't taken. So quite a frustrating result there. And the last step here was Jack Harrison basically with an open goal, but trying to, instead of a half volley or taking a touch, trying to knock it first time, which is, in practice exactly what you want to do. Unfortunately, though, that didn't work out for us. So I'm going to quickly load a couple more images here to go over the final play here, which was going to be more so related to Everton's effective press and quick counterattack rather than a set play or like a throw-in type set play, a free kick, a corner. This was an open play counterattacking option. It didn't pan out too much, but it was an indication of quick, early, direct through the middle play that Everton can pull off. Well, try to anyway. Didn't pull off in this case. So there was a lot of passing back, and Maddison had dropped deep to receive the ball. I think it was Mickey van de Ven. He switches it to Romero, and the fullbacks, Destiny Udogie and Pedro Porro, are well advanced at this point. Everton's defensive 5, my face is covering it, is kind of tied up in this relatively narrow line, but it is sort of an effective block at this point. So what then ends up happening, bear with me while I load my next photo images in, is the ball's passed through in the middle. Basuma has now received it, and Adrissa Gay, who I marked with that black arrow before, anticipated the play and is now pressing. So now, because it's relatively close to the touchline, Pedro Porro and Kulusevski are options, but they're not really in an ideal spot to receive. It's quite a narrow passing lane. So Everton effectively have shut down that play and allowed for an opportunity for Everton to receive the ball back, which we do. So Dwight McNeil receives it off his right foot and kind of bobbles it back to Adrissa Gay, and now the play is on. So depending on how many players want to run right here, this is an excellent opportunity for Everton to take advantage. So what you're seeing, I've marked 4 players. The key one, though, to remember is Abdoulaye Doucouré is by Kulusevski, the furthest back of those 4 arrows. So he's got a lot of running to do. Dwight McNeil is in a similar lane, but he's about to receive the ball. So then the real question is, what about Jack Harrison? What about Adrissa Gay? And how does Doucouré get involved? Because he's a key player for us to receive the ball in these positions. So what then happens, Dwight McNeil is carrying the ball through the middle. Defensively, Tottenham are in a scramble recovery mode. Basuma is on his way back. And we have Harrison looking to receive the ball here around the halfway line. So a relatively narrow passing lane, but Dwight McNeil, when he's on form, has an excellent distribution of the ball. And this was actually quite an excellent through ball at this moment. So if we go to the next slide here, what you'll see, McNeil has now knocked it to Harrison. But if you're looking at the players and their positions, we only have DCL up front in the white there, And again, I've marked Abdoulaye Doucouré is way behind the rest of the players now. Eric Boonham is is in our half. Roman Dixon is making a charge on the right side, and Udogie is tracking back for Spurs. Idrissa Gana Gueye is playing as the left wing option as McNeil was charging through in the middle. So what do we do to take advantage of this situation? Unfortunately, these are the typical challenges that Everton have. We look promising. We're on the break. How many players are busting a gut? You can see they're definitely having a go, but Doucouré, I'm not sure why he didn't go harder here, because that's what we need him to do, is be that presence in the box and make the impact. I have a feeling because of the type of match we were having, it was still 0-0. We were trying to play it safe and not overinvest going forwards. Maybe that's why Duke stayed back. But all the same, as you see now, Doucouré is still at the edge of the box. Sorry, at the edge of the image here on the bottom right, and Kulusevski is past him. Gana Gueye is slowed down because he realizes there's not much point in going too further advanced in case there's a back post option. McNeil is now out of the picture, and there's a one-on-one race where Basuma is there. And I think this actually may have been Odegaard rather than Udogie, my mistake. So Udogie is running back, as is, Odegaard is running back with Roman Dixon on the overlap here with that black arrow. So now the final move here, it doesn't pan out because of an excellent recovery tackle, but we have a sliding Odegaard there that just knocks it out and touch inside of Roman Dixon. So one of these putting them on the back foot, looking effective, almost breaking through, using pace, but at the same time, we didn't put enough numbers forward. It was kind of predictable. Harrison didn't have the leg speed to take anyone on. So it was kind of visually obvious watching the replay there that they were waiting for, or Dixon was the only real alternative, and Doucouré was playing back. So it was easy to shut down the play. And even still, it was a sliding tackle to take it on. But I think all the same, some interesting opportunities there. Yes, we are not going to probably have as many counter-attacking chances, but I imagine a whole bunch of set plays. And there were some corner kicks, for example, where Dwight McNeil was hitting the back post. Taki was winning heads against Spurs. I could certainly see that happening again here on the weekend. How many counterattacks do I really expect? Well, Bournemouth like more of the ball and will hold possession, so maybe. But then again, we're home at Goodison. I don't think we're going to be playing too low a block because the fans won't accept that. But anyway, those were some of the wasted opportunities early in the match. But one from a quick throw in with Spurs out of position. One where Spurs are in possession, and we kind of did hoofball, but actually got an opportunity out of it. And the final one, well, that was a breakaway that didn't pan out because we didn't invest and have enough players busting to break into the box. But until next time, up the Toffees.